chairman of the Belfair 30th Anniversary Committee, and we're here to talk to some esteemed members and former members about, again, one of the real seminal events in the history of Belfair, and that was the 2019 hosting of the PGA Professionals Championship. So who do we have? Gary?
Gary Fiorino. I was a member here at Belfair in 2014.
James Swift, your former director of golf here, left in 2020.
Okay.
And my name is Bob Elliott, and my wife and I, Kim, moved here in 2010.
Okay.
And I'm Nancy McHugh, and my husband Bill and I bought here in 1998, and we were here until 2024.
I finally picked her out.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Hi, I'm Doug Oberg, and my wife and I moved to Belfair in 2017, and it's been a fantastic experience.
Okay. So 2019, obviously there was a lot of planning that went on. When did the planning first start?
Gosh, I think
It actually, I'll start, you can fill in, but the planning actually started in about 2016, 3 years in advance. And the golf committee here evaluated 30 different venues using 16 different criteria, because we were looking to host another golf tournament. We had hosted the Players Am here for 10 years. And we selected the National Club Professional event and began our work to convince the membership that it was a good program, which we did in 2017. So we had about 18 months to plan the event, which was in April 2019.
Right.
Absolutely.
Jim,
It was kind of spawned, we looked at quite a few events and which one would give us the most, exposure, because again, with such a beautiful facility and a wonderful campus and two fantastic golf courses, with Belfair's, golf-centric nature, this was a perfect match to have something that really kind of centered around the PGA Professional National Championship, and the fact that, these guys are really good. And actually, we have somebody like John Coe played who also shot a couple under par. So it was a neat venue. I guess the time commitment and the investment was somewhat nominal as far as large scale tournaments go. But when I saw it at Philly Cricket Club in 2017, it was a fantastic event, and the coverage you got and the amount of exposure to the golf course and all the players and how the membership kind of reacted to it really kind of made it a very good choice for us. So I think Bob and the committee really carried the heavy burden of getting that done as far as membership involvement. And at the end of the day, we were very successful.
Sure. So the PGA, it's a PGA event. Did they commit to or require Belfair to do certain things, maybe changes to the course? And did they provide any financial assistance?
Well, I didn't want to jump in on that.
If I could just jump in on a little bit before, as far as getting ready, one of the things that we did, James and Bob and myself and Ken Cossack, we went out to California to see the tournament directly before ours, which was held at Bayonet Black Horse. And we spent almost a week out there as guests with the PGA. We paid for our airfares ourselves. But we stayed out there and we saw every bit of that operation. If you thought what I wrote for this, you should have seen what I wrote for that. We just studied everything that was happening out there. At the end, when we were coming home, we all sat and had a drink and we said, we can do this, and the bar is not that high. We know we can do it off the charts. Mm-hmm. So that really helped, was having that preparation, seeing the tournament.
There's 312 contestants. It is one of the largest, if not the largest.
Yeah.
And we figured if we could put on a member of guests for 240, we could handle this.
Yeah, that's a good way to analyze it, Bob. And so the PGA, so we have two great golf courses. I literally took title in March of 2019, so I was brand new. But I do remember the West Course looking very green. Now, how did that happen?
But that was that was a combined effort between us and the PGA. But they really didn't ask for anything exuberant or lengthening the golf course. They felt that the golf course we provided would have been ample test for those players. What we decided to do to make sure that we presented ourselves to the nation, basically, or to everyone watching on TV. You know, overseeing the West Golf Course was probably the wisest thing we ever did as far as the exposure during the tournament play. It was fantastic. And I've never seen a golf course. I mean, Harbor Town may have been a close second, but that year, that golf course was tremendous. It was spectacular. So that overseeing process, we didn't oversee the East. The East had just been redone, I think. So we had a little bit firmer, faster conditions on that golf course. But at the end of the day, it just presented so well. But, you know, PGA really was a good partner more than anything else. Working with Mark Chetshot and the entire group there was really a neat and rewarding experience for me. Yeah, there were 17-hour days, as everybody I know had, you know, for about 19 days in a row, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But the golf course held its own, and I think, what, was it 8 under? 10 under. 10 under was the winner.
For 4 rounds.
For 4 rounds, which is pretty solid. Absolutely.
Yeah. And obviously, the volunteers was incredible. I read your after-action report, Nancy, and tell us, I mean, first of all, let's have some facts. How many Belfair members volunteered?
We had 647 volunteers. 450 of them were from Belfair. The year previous to the tournament, we had a job fair here, and we invited Susie Whaley, who was president of the PGA at the time, and she came, did a demo, talked to the membership, and we signed up hordes of people that day, not only for volunteer jobs, but also for housing the players, because we decided that we would house these players too if they needed housing. And
And the caddies.
And the caddy,
Right.
yes. So that was another dimension to this tournament that had never been offered before.
So your bayonet wouldn't have had that.
No. And
So I know you had a lot of volunteers, and then I saw the organization chart. It looked like something at IBM. I mean, it was so well organized. And Gary, what was your role?
Actually, Stu and I were fortunate enough that we got to host a pro from Texas, Joe Mitchell, his wife, and his caddy, Mo. The great thing about that was when you knew these people, you got to know them, we'd sit outside on the patio and a group would go by and Joe would say, hey, and next thing you know, I'd have 10, 15 players and caddies drinking, giving them hot dogs, hamburgers, and it happened every single day. So for 7 days, we had people on the patio, eating people. It was just a great thing to do. Really enjoyed it.
And for those who don't know, Gary lives on the 18th hole on the East Course. So conveniently right off the tee. Right off the tee.
I'd also throw out about I thought the volunteer operation was incredibly well run. Like, I think, was it Petrozelli that did the spreadsheet? I think it might have been Ed Petrozelli that did the spreadsheet. That sounds like an Ed Petrozelli. But I know that like, for instance, Ann and I caddied for a pro from Richmond, Virginia for the first 2 days. That was kind of fun.
Did he make the cut?
He did not make the cut. And then I also was part of the team that helped manage the practice area up top there, which I loved it because I got to see all these guys practice and chip in and stuff like that. It was really, I learned a lot just doing that. And they were all so nice and talkative, all these guys. You know, they're club pros, so they're very sociable folks, but it was a blast. And I thought the volunteer organization was really terrific. And I still say today, that event was the highlight of I think I've been here. I think this will be my 9th year, my 10th year. That was the highlight at the club so far.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was great.
And you also hosted.
That's right. We hosted too. We ended up hosting the guy who won the tournament, Alex Beach, and his caddy, Jared. Alex didn't drink much, but Jared drank a lot.
Have you been able to replenish since?
Yeah, No, but I've stayed in touch with Alex ever since. He's come up and played in the 1811 Cup a few times. Just a super nice kid. And he played in the PGA tournament, I think 6 or 7 times.
6 times, yeah. And he's got a fantastic business with hammer business and accessories and golf. It's really kind of acquired his knowledge.
Where was he from?
Business.
He's from Minnesota originally. Went to college in Nebraska. He was an assistant at a couple of nice places, including Baltusrol. I can't remember where else he played. Then he was at Westchester. I think he was at Westchester when he came down here to play.
Okay. So you keep in touch with Alex?
Absolutely. Yeah.
How about you guys keep in touch?
We keep in touch with Joe. Joe has left Victoria Country Club, and he's going around to different places as a pro and other businesses. So we keep in touch with him. his wife, they seem to be doing great and still loving Southeast Texas. And they're doing good down there.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other things I'd tell you about is who I worked on with Tim Pasniak was the parking.
The parking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, there were about 3 times I almost got hit by cars by members. Because they don't understand what your hand out like that means. They would just keep coming. So it was, but parking was interesting because you really got to meet the pros coming in, the happy ones and the sad ones. And but it was something to find places to park all these cars because you not only had the pros and the caddies, but you had the guests who were coming in, and where were we going to park those, and how were we going to get them
2,000
around?
cars you had
Yes.
to find spaces
Yes.
for.
2,000 cars, that's a big number.
And we did something else very unique to showcase the Avenue of the Oaks, and that was to hire Savannah trolley.
That's correct.
So we had trolley service bringing the spectators up and down the Avenue of the Oaks. But transportation was a major challenge.
Sure.
In finding the lots and controlling the flow. It was one of about 25 different areas of responsibility that was assigned to individual Belfair people, whether it was the marshals or the caddy services or security or developing an evacuation plan, scoring. I mean, I could go on and on. James, throw a few more in there. But each area had to be managed. And you asked the question about the PGA. They provided some guidance to us, but we had to develop the plan.
And that on top of creating a TV compound right in the middle of a residential area that was running 24/7, with whisper generators and all the lights. We went and checked all the sound and did all the decibel tests and things like that. Turned out great, but again, with every event there's challenges. With every event there's successes. But it was amazing turning Belfair into a basically almost like a PGA Tour style.
It was really cool.
It was very
If
cool.
I remember, the weather turned out to be fine, right?
Oh,
Oh,
spectacular.
so-
Spectacular.
But I'm sure you had to have contingencies. So you
Oh,
had
yeah.
those, what do you call them, safe houses or?
Oh, yeah, we had evacuation.
I forgot about
plans,
that.
safe
Yeah.
houses, and
The
things
12
like that.
vans
Yeah.
that we had to pay for.
Pay for, yeah.
Have just.
Did you have
just in case.
ambulances on the
We had
property,
medical
or-
on staff, on site.
Yeah.
Another number I just remembered, there were either 80 or 60 Belfair members that hosted people. There were 60 or 80. I can't remember
Oh,
exactly.
I thought the number was over 100.
Definitely or more.
Yeah,
Question.
yeah.
But that was a fun thing too. And what I heard during the tournament week was that was the first time that the tournament had been hosted by a residential community. Belfair was the first time to do that.
Yes.
And the pros loved it.
Yeah,
The pros that got
Oh,
to
they
stay.
wanted to come back.
Because they were so
wanted to
close.
come.
I mean, they didn't have to drive or get in a bus to come to the golf course,
Right.
when it was the time
Right.
to play.
So Bob, you mentioned 2 or 3 years ahead getting the buy-in from the Belfair members. So I guess for at least the entire tournament time, 4, 5, 6 days, I guess there was no golf on either course by Belfair members. And was
Yes,
that
there's some compromise along the way there, but the first time that we brought this to the membership, it was actually turned down. And we had to go back to the drawing board. We worked with the PGA. We lowered the cost to Belfair to run the event. We worked to reduce the amount of downtime or inconvenience for the membership. James put together reciprocal programs. And so the resistance or the arguments were legitimate, and we responded to the member concerns. And at the end of the day, I mean, the attendance of the members and spectators from outside just showed how much, what a great decision it was to host the event.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as like I said, I was brand new. I was able to see like 3 hours before I had to leave. And I remember standing on the 5th tee east. I just wanted to watch all those guys drive over the water.
Right.
Hit irons.
Yeah. And of the 30 or so players I saw, I think two of them might have missed it. It's because they hooked it a little bit into the lake, but otherwise it was
It was fun to watch. It was really
fun to watch.
One of the challenges that we did have, though, was the PGA had given us the computer base to use for all of our spreadsheets and
For scoring
everything. Everything. And I had entered all of that into my computer. Then they changed their contract and found another provider with a better system. So all that data that you'd worked on for 6 months, all had to be navigated to a different system. And that, I can remember pulling my hair out over that one, but the PGA people in Florida were amazingly helpful, really, really helpful. They were there to make this job easier for you.
Yeah.
So really appreciate it.
So Bob, the day, the week of, what was your personal day like? You get up at 4.
No, I was sleeping in pretty much. It was all planned and ready to go. But as I said, there was 25 different areas, and we had great leadership in each one of them. And so my role that week was really just to troubleshoot and help wherever it was needed, which was not.
He was there
Not very
every
often.
morning at 6 o'clock. Don't let him get you.
That might be sleeping in for him, I don't know.
But I got to give a lot of credit to Nancy as the volunteer coordinator.
Yeah.
When you look at the numbers and the complexity of this, and the recruitment that you did, the work that you put in before, during, and after the event. We captured all the pluses and minuses,
We did.
hoping that we would have another opportunity, and we still have that data, and we know how to run another professional golf tournament.
And it was fun to see the volunteers work so hard and yet have such a good time. And when they would all congregate in the volunteer area, which was over by the West Cottages, afterwards have a glass of tea.
Well, there were free
or
hot dogs
something.
over there.
Free hot
Right.
dogs. Whatever we could give you, we did. But they worked so long, so many hours, and yet they always had a smile. It was fun. They enjoyed it.
And I remember one of the things that was promoted a lot was the television coverage. I guess it was the Golf Channel. And I remember, since I wasn't here, I watched some of it on TV and alerted my friends, hey, you're gonna see where I'm moving to, you know.
That's
I mean,
right.
And I thought the coverage was fabulous. What kind of feedback or what were your thoughts?
I mean, I got numerous phone calls from everyone. Hey, your course looks fantastic. It looks like such a great, awesome venue, and it really did show very well. Especially, I think 15, but that shot down the fairway with the crane. I think they really kind of did a very nice job trying to make sure they laid out the finishing hole for everybody. It was a great finish.
The day the tide was in on 18.
Oh, yeah.
We arranged that. We arranged that.
That was some of the prettiest.
Wasn't that beautiful? That was so beautiful.
I'll also say I go away for the summers. Like I go up to the Northeast for the summers and I play around a little bit up there. I mean, golf is play a lot of courses up there. And when I would go and play these courses and I'd show up in my Belfair gear, all of a sudden, all of these ambassador club pros that had gone back to their places, in the Met section up there and the Philadelphia sections, were all like, oh, your Belfair, oh man, that was great. Or, Joe went and Mary, oh man, it was awesome. And we got a lot of good press out of that where I'm from.
Yeah, I have 2 candidates. I'm trying to find a head golf official for our new golf course over at Palm Bluff, and 3 of the guys reached out and like, yeah, man, I remember playing at your course. It was awesome. Really fun. Can I have a job?
Well, I'm glad we helped you out at Palm.
We appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Strike that from the record.
Well, the other thing about this is that the PGA had to be convinced that we could pull it off.
Sure.
And so we had a couple of members with good connections into the PGA, and we had to sell the membership, as I mentioned. But the fact that we had just brought in Troon was a tremendous help in bringing credibility to Belfair and convincing the PGA, I believe, that we could run a professional golf tournament.
So we've had this unbelievable experience now 6 years ago, I guess, already. And so, Gary, you've been around, Doug, Bob, you're gone, Nancy, so I won't ask you.
Not far.
Not far. What, are there lasting benefits, lasting impacts that are still here? Well, obviously, James has already mentioned that the professionals certainly remember it.
Well, I would say that there's the memory of it.
Yeah.
And some of the new members that we have here will ask us, what was it like?
Well, that's why we wanted to do this video, to be honest, one of the reasons.
What was it like? What were the obstacles you had to overcome? And for the most part, it's like we all been talking about, it was ran so smoothly.
Yeah.
And we just would talk to them about how great the golf was. You just got down to the players and how happy most of us who were volunteers were, as well as the players, the caddies, their wives and stuff like that, because Belfair did a great job of making sure they felt comfortable, they were taken care of, and all they had to worry about is play golf.
Well said.
And James did a great job picking out the volunteer uniform. It was pink. Beautiful pink shirts. And I remember Susie Raley, when she came for the closing, and she looked out and she said, "It's so fabulous. All I see is a sea of pink." And it was. So that was really cute.
I'd also throw out that I think we did do a great job of making all the players feel welcome, and comfortable, which is great. But I would also say, getting back to this, sending back 310 ambassadors to wherever they went to in the country. When we talk about the real estate sales spurt that we went through here in Belfair during the pandemic, I don't know how you calculate it, but I'm almost certain that some of that spurt, a percentage of that, was driven by the fact that people were more aware of Belfair as a result of hosting the tournament and having seen it on TV and so forth. I think.
And having their golf professionals from up north down
come
here
back and say,
the only negative of this whole tournament that I can remember even think of was the 5-inch rough that we had to live with for the next couple of weeks.
I agree with that.
That was the only negative. There was not a bad incident. There was nothing else happened. Everything else was so positive.
But my recollection of that is that was part of the deal that we worked out to get the members more involved, because I think we had either the member or the member guest was like a week or two right after we said, we'll leave the course in tournament conditions.
Yeah,
that was probably
the weekend after, absolutely. I remember that.
So that was cool. Everyone was excited about
yeah.
But then it's like,
Until they
you can't find your ball. You can't find your
Until you
ball.
had a chip out of the rough because you couldn't get out of the rough.
So, we just got a couple more minutes to wrap up. So what are your thoughts? It was 6 years ago. Is this something you think that Belfair should consider doing in the future?
I think as a good community, the one thing that I can remember most, and the thing that it took me back the most, is how much the community came together to do this.
I would agree.
And how much fun they had. But really, it was more of, you see Belfair as a true community. And, we go up and down 278. You can go to any place you like, and we don't name names. But this really is a community where people came together to help one another and to execute what was a great event for 312 people from either around the corner or from far, far away. And I think they made everybody proud of doing that. So for me, it was just it's neat to see it all come together. Going to the volunteer tent and seeing Nancy tell everybody what's going on, and they listen, they're gone. Or seeing, people pick up garbage, being the director, the people that it was just everybody came together to make it happen. And that sense of pride in the community certainly welled over to all the players. It was just really, really cool to see.
John Abernathy put a crew together to fill divots after each round. Just that kind of spirit and involvement.
I'd do it for it again in a heartbeat.
I'd do it in a heartbeat. As a matter of fact, when COVID hit, the year after, the Canadian Open was canceled.
Oh, they brought it to Congaree.
And they changed the name and moved it to Congaree. Okay, who did the director of golf call to help? Because they had like 3 months to execute. They called Belfair. And we put a crew together, basically the same level committee chairs, and we helped them fill those areas with volunteers. And we essentially ran that tournament for them. So what's the lasting point or
legacy
perspective on this is there's still a lot of us around who know how to do this. And we know we have the membership who will rally around another event. The right event at the right time. I hope we're looking at it. I don't know.
Well, I want to thank all of you, James, for coming back, Nancy for remembering how to get here, and all of you for your leadership and everything that you do and have done for Belfair and Jinx. We wish you a lot of success. And if you ever want to come back and play, we might let you in.
I'd love to come back and play. That'd be great.
All right. Well, if you have time.
If I have time.
Okay. Thank you very much to this wonderful panel. I'll applaud
Thank you.
Applaud again.
Thank you.